Good evening, everyone. Operator Starsky here. It's very nice to see you tonight. I hope you have some beverage and good mood, of course. So today we're gonna talk about some recent news, gossips, and I will answer your questions as much as I can, obviously. There were some guys mentioning this gentleman that was on the thumbnail. Yeah, it's like he was shell shocked, really bad. I mean, it's not really good to laugh at such things, but it's just too hilarious. So, yeah, and tonight we're gonna discuss recent news from the front lines, something obviously I cannot tell you, something I don't know. And don't forget to mention your country, of course, in the commentaries. That would be really nice. In Germany, we call Putin Hurensohn. What does it mean? Is he dead? You probably mean that guy on the thumbnail. I think, like, I don't know. I mean, if he was able to deliver this video, probably he is not. But if he is, I think he became better. He got improved. Okay, Austria, Sweden, USA, California. Oh my God, those commentaries, they jump like crazy. Norway, Netherlands, Mexico, Bosnia. All right. So we have a huge army here. Czechia, Polska, UK. All right. Lithuania. Guys, it's really nice to see you. So I have coffee today. Unfortunately, Coca-Cola is not funding this video, as well as all previous videos. So, anyways, Spain, Colombia, Denmark, Hungary, France, Croatia, Brazil, Slovakia. Okay, so we have quite a company here. North Korea, hey. We have quite a company here, and a lot of resources were mentioning the overall territory that was liberated by Ukrainian armed forces during this period of this counteroffensive operation. Some were saying, like, my dog is sneezing, sorry for that. Some of them said that like 2,000 square kilometers were liberated. Some of them mentioned like 8,000 kilometers. According to official information, we liberated something around 4,000 kilometers. It's according to official information as of today, right? So the territory is bigger than the Rhode Island, but probably a bit smaller than Delaware or so. Or for those who live in Europe, it's bigger than Luxembourg and smaller than Cyprus or so. And we have I'm sorry, I'm just reading commentaries. Okay, we have some news to share. So our armed forces made an estimation of all the vehicles that were destroyed or taken during this counteroffensive. So according to visual observations made by the armed forces of Ukraine, between 29th August and 12th of September, which is yesterday. During the counteroffensive operation, the Russian army lost 442 vehicles in total. 237 of them, which is 54%, were acquired by Ukrainian army completely intact, which means that they will be used against Russians. Sorry, I didn't have time. Okay, I was a bit lazy to translate this small infographics, but I will translate it for you right now. So among those vehicles were 79 BMPs, 45 tanks, 6 command and communication vehicles. Those are very important, so those are not bad at all. We also managed to capture some of their advanced Uragan rocket launchers, multiple rocket launchers. And of course, it was made public today. So our troops near Kherson captured their radio electronic suppression system called Borisogledsk 2. And those vehicles are pretty much modern, so they were delivered to Russian army in 2013, I guess. They made 8 of those vehicles in 2013, and those are pretty much valuable because, you know, they're stuffed with all kinds of top secret Russian technologies. We'll see what it can do. If we can deliver, for example, I don't know, logs using this, it would be great because winter is coming. All right, and another news of today is that near Kupiansk, our anti-air defense managed to destroy one of the Iranian-made drones. So there was information that Russian troops were training how to operate those drones in Iran on the air base called Kashan. And there were like 2 parties of those Russians, like 2 separate trainings. Later, we had information that Russian airports accepted an Iranian cargo airplane that was carrying those drones, and now we can see them used on the battlefield in Ukraine. So those drones here, for example, we can see this Russian marking. So Russians put their own marking, like a sticker, on the drone. They called it Gerань. We know, like, we have zero information about Russian drones that would ever be called Gerань. So that's like we can see it for the first time here, and they are basically the same as those Iranian drones called Shahed 136. What kind of drone is it? So basically it's a kamikaze drone. It's stuffed with explosives, and it's used to destroy vehicles. And most obviously they will be using those drones in order to target our HIMARS systems. And the question is, what are the consequences for Iran? Because personally, I expected Iran to, sign all needed agreements and start trading oil with Europe, because it would rapidly remove majority of their sanctions, and they could have a better future and trade, and so we would all benefit from that. Unfortunately, they chose another path, and the reason why they did it was most obviously because Russians promised to bring them some of their advanced airplanes like Su-35, because Iranian Air Force have like problems with that. They wanted to update and upgrade their air forces, so obviously that was the point of this agreement. Unfortunately, yes. So what else we have here? Russia continues to blame Ukraine. Okay, I mean, it's hard not to laugh, but Russia continues blaming Ukraine for developing those infected birds. So, for example, this Sergei Ryabkov, so deputy minister of foreign affairs of Russia, Sergei Ryabkov. Wait a second. Wrong picture. Oh, that's better. So, Sergei Ryabkov said that America is trying to hide the evidence of their military biological activities in Ukraine. And like, I wonder what it means. So I think that probably it's like they killed all the birds. They killed all the chickens. They fed them to Ukrainian stray cats. Obviously, they ate all the eggs, those genetically modified, because I mean, like, why wasting proteins, right? I have this friend. I have this friend who has a friend whose cousin was a scientist working in a secret lab. I mean, we all have such friends. And he said, I swear this is a legit information. So he said that the main point of producing those birds was to create some specific bacteria and spread this bacteria among our enemies to turn them into imbeciles. But the problem was that it didn't work because nothing changed. So yeah, it was a failure. That's why they had to kill all the chickens. Okay, so I will remove this gentleman from the screen if you don't mind. Yeah, Russians will be immune to that. Okay. So I thought today about like why Russians are allied with Iran, like in general, because I mean, what's the point? One thing you gotta know about Russians, okay? So there's like rumor that is spread among their population for like years, probably like decades. That all those conspiracies about ZOG, Zionistic occupational government and stuff. I mean, they believe in this crap like with all their heart. And we all remember that scandalous statement made by Lavrov who justified Jewish Ukrainian President Zelensky being a Nazi because, according to his words, Jewish people are the biggest anti-Semites in the world. And he had to excuse himself for those words later. There's like a lot of resources in Russia. For example, the biggest website dedicated to Holocaust revisionism, it's on Blogspot. I'm not gonna post a link to this crap, but you can find it on Blogspot. It's Holocaust Revision on Blogspot. It's like one of the biggest websites that still exists in it's very popular in Russian social media as well. And they kind of just like try to debunk myths of Holocaust. So they claim that like nothing like that happened. And Zog, of course, Zog is trying to control everything. Like the funny thing is that in Russia, like a lot of resources in Russia are banned. Obviously, they are blocked from within the country. Like Facebook, of course, because Facebook is an extremist network according to democratic Russian country, as well as Instagram, because what can be more extremist and fascist than Instagram? Instagram is a big threat to Russian state, right? So they blocked it, but they never blocked a site like this one. It's still functional. You can find it online, and yeah, it's like one of the most popular resources on the Russian net. And yeah. The thing is that there's you should hook up with Ukrainian tank girl. Why not? Why not? Soon we will have a probably like a stream, maybe a video with Anna from Ukraine. By the way, thank you so much for advising me to contact her, and we will bring up some very interesting topic. You're gonna like it. Are there any news about whereabouts of Penis Dushilin? So, Penis Dushilin, Denis Pushilin, he was spotted in Donetsk, like on some of the videos, but I cannot confirm that this video was made recently. So yeah, unfortunately, I cannot confirm or disconfirm that Penis Dushilin is still in Donetsk or ran away. Yeah, but before we move on to questions, how many orcs surrendered? Hello, Northern California. So not as much as we all hope, because again, there's like we gotta always check information and be realistic. There's quite a lot of Russians who surrendered. We have a bunch of videos, but it's not like brigades yet. But we will see. Also, my dog sends you a big hello, and he asked me to mention him in this video, and I will use this chance to ask you guys to subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. I know, because dogs always work. Okay, and I think that basically we can move on to the questions. So, do I think Putin knows about my channel? I'm sure that some of his subordinates do, because my channel survived a bunch of bot attacks. One of my most I had like a bunch of most popular videos. One of them was my speech dedicated to Russian invaders. It was like during the first days of this invasion. We made it together with our sergeant major, and it was very popular in Russia. Okay, because I received a lot of commentaries from my fans from Russia, from Chechnya, Dagestan. They all wanted to come to Kiev, visit me, but I'm still waiting. Like, I don't know if Putin knows about my channel. Probably not. On the other hand, imagine like if Putin serves the internet using a fake name. That would be so cool. Okay, how do you think? What kind of nickname he would use? Leave it in the commentaries. All right, so let's move to the needs more dog. Yeah. Hi from Scotland. Hello, Scotland. You worried about Putin using chemical or biological weapons? He can absolutely use it, and during I think it was in May, June, something like that, we had information that their officers received antidotes from their own chemical weapons, and my guys were in Rubizhne during that period of time, and basically we have this service in our brigade, this company called Biochemical Radiation Defense Company. And they told us that actually it could be a sign that they were indeed preparing to use such weapons, but at some point NATO informed Putin that they will literally bring their troops. Again, it's like according to rumors, right? Actually, I think it was on the media. So they informed him that they will bring troops to Ukraine in case he decides to use such weapons. We didn't have confirmation that they used something indeed, but they did a lot of harm in different ways. So probably you remember that huge orange cloud in Rubizhne, in Severodonetsk. There were two different storages, I think, of nitric acid, and they were bombed by Russian aviation and missiles. Fortunately, wind was blowing eastwards, so a lot of Russians got poisoned by that. Fortunately. Unfortunately, of course, we know that it's a huge harm to environment, to nature. But nothing like biological or chemical weapons were used, fortunately, until today. Okay, North Carolina, USA. Hello. What I think about Russian opposition. I think that Russian opposition totally deserves having their visas banned, because this will probably make them finally do something about their dictator. Uh, the problem with Russians is that, they tend to run away to other countries when things go bad in their country instead of solving their own problems. So I think that this isolation will finally make them act, which is good. And then I will applaud Russian opposition. I've been asked if I want to make like a stream with Inside Russia, for example, or other Russian bloggers. I would probably do that if I was asked, because like nobody contacted me or asked me, how to build democratic country. The problem with Russian opposition, okay, the biggest problem is that a lot of them come to Ukraine, for example, searching for a shelter, for a political shelter. Okay, it's fine, I agree. They oppose Putin and stuff. But at the same time, they try to teach us how to build a democratic country. And this sounds ridiculous because they are ruled by the same person for like 20 years. And I don't think that their advice could be like, could have any value. But I totally support if So Dennis Davidov here. Hello, buddy. It's very nice to see you. I missed you. We gotta have some coffee sometime. Very nice recent video. Big like. And how's your arm, by the way? Tell us in the commentaries. We're all worried about you. Don't skate as much, okay? Okay. Did you hear the rumor about a column of Russian people fleeing from Melitopol at the moment? Yes, we have a lot of information coming from southern regions, including Crimea, that Russians, specifically families of like Russian militaries, are fleeing from those regions. Probably like they've been told to do so. And I totally support that, of course. Okay, how would people in liberated Donetsk and Severodonetsk regions react to Ukrainian soldiers? So it's like this. Oh, so Dennis Davido replied that his arm is functioning for around 80%. I think 2 more percent and you will be able to fly in an airplane. Okay. The people in the occupied territories, I think they will probably react better eventually to Ukrainian soldiers because what Ukraine offers to those people. Ukraine offers protection, medical service, opportunity to study in any kind of universities, not only in Ukraine but abroad as well. It offers like police protection and all the benefits of civilization. What they had until this moment in Donetsk was that, and again, in Ukraine we had freedom of speech, okay? So like you can go, I don't know, to the downtown, okay, and you can speak whatever you want, um, including anything in Russian language, because the biggest myth that is spread by Russian propaganda is that Ukrainians are running around killing Russian-speaking people in huge amounts and probably eat them. But the fact is that a lot of Ukrainians speak Russian language. Nobody cares at all. But as for those people, what they have now, they have zero freedom of speech and all those benefits brought by Russian Mir, this Russian world / Russian peace. Um, it's tough. I mean, like, I can tell you all the things that I've heard from people who lived in Donetsk. Again, I will be blamed for spreading propaganda against our enemies. Not sure if it's good or bad. Anyways, but there's this movie called Donbass. I hope that it's available with subtitles, with translation. You gotta watch this movie. I mean, like, it's 100% accurate. I don't hear much from Dugin anymore. It's good for your health. I mean, it's great. Slava ЗСУ, слава навіки. When you retake Crimea, are you going to let Russia keep Sevastopol naval base? I think that Sevastopol naval base can be kept by Russians if I'm gonna come up with something funny here. If they are, if the personnel station there will be improved, I don't have anything against it. Yeah, we can give Sevastopol to Russians if they are good. Okay, not the best joke of tonight, but anyways. Where's the captured general? So, again, this guy, I cannot confirm that he was a general. Again, I mentioned that because otherwise it would be a huge sensation in Ukraine. Because captured general is quite a big bird. And I think that he would be interrogated and we would have a press conference and stuff. On the other hand, probably we yet have to see that. So I cannot answer this question, unfortunately. Hello, Argentina. Very nice to see you here. Donbass by Sergei Loznitsa. Yes, that's exactly the movie, and it's highly advised to see. When pigs start flying. Yeah, that's a better joke than what I did. Anyways, I don't care. Can you ask Denis Davidov to join us on The Enforcer for a donation night? Denis Davidov, buddy, please join The Enforcer on the donation night because it's important. So those guys collect funds for Ukrainian charity organizations. Yesterday, they woke me up at 5 a.m. to participate in a fundraiser for organization Razom. You probably heard about it. And before that, we had a mutual podcast supporting the charity organization Revived Soldiers of Ukraine. It's I highly advise you to to help those guys. So I'm not sure about the overall amount of funds they already collected for to support Ukrainian army as well as our refugees like civilians, but I think it's something like more than $500,000 already since the beginning of this invasion. And because they cooperate with YouTube, they don't even see those money. They go directly to the charity organization. So, Dennis, if you hear me, please do something about this. Yeah, $20,000 on Sunday. It's when we had this mutual stream. I was like sleeping because we have those sunstorms here. I'm not sure, like, if you're vulnerable to sunstorms. I am, probably because I'm getting old, but like it's very hard to sleep generally. And I was like sleeping finally, and the enforcer called me and said, "So how about the fundraiser?" I'm like, "Oh my god, we gotta do it, because yeah, we will sleep when we are retired." Okay. What is a sunstorm? Guys, sunstorm is when huge mass of particles are being erupted from the surface of sun. They approach Earth in something like 8, maybe 10 minutes. And people who are vulnerable to sunstorms, they react differently to this. Some of them cannot sleep. Some of them feel dizzy. It's bad for electronics as well. So probably if you have issues sleeping, that's because of the solar flare. Yeah, exactly. That's how it's called in a normal language. Okay. Wales. Hi, Wales. Very nice to see you. Do I feel sympathy for Russian soldiers? Like, I gotta ask relatives of Buchan victims if I should feel pity for Russian soldiers. Okay. Hello from Vancouver. Thumbs up for Vancouver. Sleep better when it thunderstorms. I liked thunderstorms before I got acquainted with artillery. Also, my dog hates thunderstorms. So Sun to Earth, 8 minutes 20 seconds. The light reaches Earth in 8 minutes 20 seconds. As for those particles, they might, like, okay, I'm not a physicist, but they might be heavier, so they require more time. Like, because we're not talking about photons, we are talking about other particles. Fuch for Ambassador 2022. I support that. I completely support that. Greetings from Detroit. Hello, Detroit. Nice to see you. Brazil supports Ukraine. Thank you so much for your support, Brazil. Hello from Cleveland, Ohio. We have many Ukrainian people in Parma, Ohio, USA. Thank you so much for caring for our people. That's very important. All right. Fudge is like in my language it's fudge. It doesn't mean anything. I mean it's a ridiculous name, but anyways. Fudge for the leader of NAFO. I tell you what, if you make Fudge a leader of NAFO, you will have the community with the biggest possible amount of subscribers ever. I swear. Because whenever I need more subscribers, I literally use pictures of my dog and I give him treats for that. New Brunswick, Canada. Hello. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice to see you tonight. How effective has the surrender hotline been, if you can tell us? Unfortunately, I cannot tell you precise numbers, but I can tell you that there were cases when they were giving up together with their vehicles, which is absolutely great. And for example, our security service is being often contacted by Russians. Cannot tell you precise numbers because I don't serve there, unfortunately. I would like to know those numbers too. Were there any mass graves found in Izium? Not that I know of. But during these days, we unfortunately find a lot of graves. So a couple of days ago in Krakow, two bodies were found. They were found without ears and having gunshot wounds. And I think it's today. 4 more civilians were found in Zaliznichne. It's a village not far from Chuguyev, I think. Chuguyev. So they were found in different locations. They were shot, and prior to being shot, they were tortured. So that's according to our official investigation. The locals told the investigators where to search for those bodies. And after a while, those graves were found, and unfortunately, yes, those civilians were found as well. When do you think you will be in Crimea? It's very hard to predict this the liberation of Crimea, for the reason they have fleet. Okay, in order to take Crimea, we need to find a way to get rid of their fleet. So probably we'll need long-range missiles for that. But again, our higher commander is pretty much convinced that we will take Crimea back from Russians. And obviously he has some kind of reasons. I mean, he's not bluffing at all. I think so. The Chechen leader quit. So what happens next? From what I know, well, okay, probably I missed this information today, but yesterday he still was leader of Chechnya. And I think that Putin talked to him and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So after that, after his statement that he's gonna quit, he made another statement that he's not gonna quit because there's this satanic banquet in Ukraine that has to be dealt with. So it doesn't look to me like, he's gonna quit. On the other hand, he loses a lot of money, because we all know that he was literally purchased by Putin during the Second Chechen War, and his only reason of him being an ally of Putin is basically money. That's all. So because Russia becomes poorer, more poor, I think that he's losing money, and he doesn't like it at all. Hi Starsky, cheers from Lublin, Poland. It's great to see the orcs running away. I'm just worried that although it seems like a panic, it can be a tactical move to introduce something. What do you think? Cześć, witam. So I think that what we can see now is basically panic. So the only, let's say, the only organized thing they are trying to come up with in that region is basically retreat. They're trying to move their troops back, prepare their defense lines, and guys, like the most important thing for Russian army is not men, of course. It's like vehicles, like artillery. We saw that they have left something like 45 tanks, and they lost quite a lot of BMPs, but they managed to take a lot of their artillery, unfortunately. So we found quite a lot of howitzers and self-propelled howitzers. I think on some video I even saw that Pion, that huge howitzer that was abandoned, which probably maybe it wasn't functioning. There was another picture of Russian, I think Gvozdika, self-propelled howitzer that had some problem with its cannon. It exploded, which, by the way, tells me that actually we were correct about this. So in the beginning of this war, we were saying that because of those sanctions, Russians will not be able to provide their cannons, howitzers and self-propelled howitzers with all the required services, because each cannon has a resource, which is basically something like 500 shots. After that, literally anything can happen to them, including accidents and stuff like that. So it was a good indication for me. The most important thing for Russian army: fridges, toilets, microwaves, and washing machines. There's another trend, actually. I answered this comment in the commentaries to some of my posts. There's another trend. So it's a trend among Russian soldiers to carry some kind of second-hand clothes, because in case of, another counterattack from us or whatever, they can always change their clothes, throw away their weapons, and try to escape. And it was confirmed numerous times, by the way, during the previous week. Okay, what we have here? More than 70% of people in the Donbass are ethnic Ukrainian. Something like that, yeah. Interesting fact is that in villages in Donbass, majority of people speak Ukrainian language. I remember we were deployed in Krasnohorivka in 2015 in summer. We were deployed in Krasnohorivka, and we were patrolling the street, and some woman, some grandma actually, she looked very old. She said, so she basically like blessed us, okay, in Ukrainian language, and her language was so literally correct that I was impressed, of course. But there's like a lot of people who speak Ukrainian language. Is Comeback Alive a good organization for donations to Ukrainian army? 100%. So they buy drones, scopes, and all kinds of equipment for Ukrainian army, as well as vehicles, from what I know. For example, they like in the beginning of this invasion, they gave our brigade a lot of useful things. They brought us plenty of drones that were very, very helpful and useful on the front lines. So Come Back Alive, it's like, if you want to support Ukrainian army, you can definitely support Come Back Alive. There's also another fund. So there's like different charities and different smaller like volunteers. Like each volunteer in Ukraine, I'm talking about like smaller organizations, they have like their own units. So it's like they help and supervise their own units. For example, there's Diana Makarova. She's a famous Ukrainian volunteer helping Ukrainian army since 2014. There's this charity organization. It's a smaller one. It's called Vatra. They help Ukrainian army near Odessa and Kherson, and they also help Ukrainian National Guard, including my brigade, including my guys, Max and his friend, who are operating on the east right now, collecting videos and photos for you guys. By the way, speaking of Max, soon he will start his own YouTube channel, and he will be posting videos with English translation. I will be helping him as much as I can, so you could also see those videos. So I will make an announcement, and I highly advise to subscribe to his channel. Actually, my dog does. He also wants to subscribe to his channel, but unfortunately he has no account. All right. Putin's nickname Dima. I don't think so. I think that Putin will have a nickname, something like, I don't know, something like Kremlin's, something like Kremlin of the Kremlin, or something like that. I think Putin will be called like Boys Belly's fan. Probably. Okay. Sauron, yeah. Satan's little minion. Yeah, could be, by the way. Zutin. Any additional info from the retreat of the First Guards tank army? Guys, it's a very interesting topic, because so there was this First Guardian tank army, and this army was created I think around 2010, 2013, something around that period of time, specifically in order to protect Moscow from NATO troops. And all the NATO troops were so envious in regards to this Russian First Guardian tank army, because they had like perfect equipment, perfect tanks. I'm not sure like if it was true or if we all were like victims of Russian propaganda. We all know that, you know, the Ka-52 alligators cannot be destroyed and yada yada and blah blah. But like this first Guardian tank army, it was like their elite of elite, and everybody thought that, you know, like they're like huge power, you know, Russia strong. So during first weeks of this invasion, they received a lot of casualties, and they were brought to Russia in order to reinforce with like new people, because they've lost a lot of men. Then they moved back to Ukraine, I think like about a month ago. And then they again received a lot of casualties near Kharkiv, and they moved back to Russia once again. So I think it was Polish general. Unfortunately I cannot remember his name, but I think it was Polish general who said that here in NATO we were so envious. And you know, like we had like this big like respect towards those tankers, like militaries, right? We all should respect our enemies to some extent. And he said that we were so much shocked when we saw that Ukrainian army literally eliminated like majority of those soldiers, which is great, but it does not surprise me considering, you know, the amount of anti-tank missiles that we have, because we have a lot of them. Prior to this invasion, I think in December, we had so many anti-tank missiles. I'm talking not only about like javelins and NLAW missiles. I'm also talking about Stugnas and other like non-guided anti-tank rockets. So we made an estimation, and back in December 2021, we had enough rockets and missiles to destroy each Russian tank 3 times. According to one of our journalists, he made his own research. I think it was Andriy Tsaplienko. So he said that according to different field manuals, if you want to have a good defense against enemy tanks, you gotta have at least 2 missiles or rockets for each tanks. For each tank. In this case, you will have like successful defense against them. So we had like between 3 and 5 missiles per tank, and now this number is even bigger. So it does not surprise me at all. And Land-Lease has not even started, basically. I mean, at full. Okay. Vladimir Beach. Sounds nice. Sergeant Jane. I think you're talking about Sergeant Jane. Yes, she is completely fine. I have information about her. I cannot share it with you, unfortunately, but she does great. She does great. Can you put together officially recognized armed forces donation links and list them below your videos? I will make a separate post dedicated to this. Thank you so much for your advice. What's the difference between a Lada and Jehovah's Witnesses? You can shut the doors at Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, probably. Because you cannot shut what you don't have. Do you know how many vehicles Russians left behind in their recent route? So yeah, we were talking about it in the beginning of this video. According to observations from the armed forces of Ukraine, that like the information that was confirmed, because it's like on a video, okay? Russians lost 442 vehicles, and 237 of them were acquired by armed forces of Ukraine because they were abandoned, like they were completely intact. And that's a lot. So this number includes, for example, 45 tanks, completely intact. 45 tanks. It's amazing. But everything goes according to plan. Let's remember that. Do you play poker, Starsky? I really do. I do. I don't play poker frequently. Sometimes I meet my friends and we play poker. So what do you think Putin will go down in history for? I think he will go down for his nickname given to him by Ukrainian people. I think you know what I'm talking about. Do the orcs even try to sabotage their vehicles? Sometimes. They literally drain all the fuel, which means that you cannot just add fuel back into the tank, the tank of the tank, and start it, because there's like air in its system, and it has to be removed and stuff, so it still requires maintenance. But that's like it doesn't change much. There were reports that a Russian lieutenant general was captured. Was this confirmed? Yeah, I already answered that, so we still have no confirmation. Probably. Because, like, yeah, I saw that video and the dude looks very similar to that general, right? Probably we can expect some kind of sensation in Ukrainian media. Maybe like shortly, maybe not. I cannot tell you because like I'm not on the level of having such information, okay? But anyways, like, you know, in case it's like lieutenant colonel, it's still a good catch in my opinion. But the dude looks similar. I agree. Like I was like comparing his picture, and yeah, he looks very, very similar. Awesome guest spot on the Enforcer fundraiser. Thank you so much. It was really nice, and the questions were also very, very nice. Are you still at the operator Starsky? What do you think about when you are alone? I don't really understand the question. Unfortunately. Sorry, my English bad. Very bad. Okay. Ukraine confirmed it was not him. So probably it was a different man. Very similar, but still different. There's a lot of similar people, okay? Some people say I look like Jason Statham. I'm sure I don't. Some people say I look like this Carl Pilkington. He's an awesome dude. I saw his performance with Ricky Gervais, and they are amazing. How many Russian prisoners does Ukraine have at this moment? It's a very good question, by the way. I will check it out for you. I will. Bosnia with Ukraine. Thank you very much, our friends Bosniaks. Thank you for your support. What will happen to collaborators? Okay, so people who were collaborating with Russians will face trial. That's for sure. I think people who are guilty in other people's deaths, for example, people that were like walking around showing those Russians where relatives of our soldiers live, and those relatives were later like eliminated or tortured, they will face trial. That's for sure. They are lucky that we don't have death penalty in Ukraine, but they gonna face the law. That's 100%. What is your opinion on Gorbachov? So, Gorbachev was a good choice for Soviet people back in the 90s. But Gorbachev supported Russian invasion publicly. So, I cannot say that I liked in the past Gorbachev. I cannot tell you that, because whoever supports invasion into my country, be it Gorbachev or I don't know, Iran or Belarus or whatever, there's no force in this world to make me like them. If Dalai Lama supports, I'm sure he won't, but if Dalai Lama supports invasion into Ukraine, and in case he supports Russians, I will stop liking Dalai Lama. But I'm sure he won't. He's a nice guy. Okay. Even if he didn't support Ukraine's invasion, I don't like him. Like, me neither. Like, he was a president of the USSR, okay? He was basically first president of the USSR. Ukraine was occupied by USSR, basically, like a bunch of Baltic countries and other countries, like Chechnya, for example. Ukraine was occupied by Bolsheviks. in the beginning of the 20th century, in the days when we could have our country finally free from Russian Empire. At that point, and we basically had our independent country for the first time in centuries, but Bolsheviks decided to invade our country and change our government, and unfortunately they were lucky to do that back then. It happened exactly like 100 years ago. So I don't like anything about Soviet Union. And okay, so one interesting thing. That's another interesting thing. I have this for you. Yeah, so for example, this person that you see here is Sergei Korolev. Sergei Korolev was Ukrainian inventor and famous space engineer. A lot of people don't know that Sergei Korolev was born in Zhytomyr in Ukraine. Okay? The pictures that you see here on the screen that I'm trying to... Okay, it looks good. The pictures that you see here on the screen is those pictures were taken in prison, in Gulag basically, because Korolev was a smart person. Bolsheviks didn't like smart people. They were eliminating intelligent people. They were calling them intelligentsia, and being intelligent was a crime in the USSR back then. And they were killing or imprisoning those people. And Sergei Korolev was captured, and he spent quite a few years in Russian prison for being smart. So, little did you know that he got injured really bad. He got his jaw broken because some NKVD soldiers were interrogating him, and they broke his jaw, and he had that trauma until he died. And actually there are rumors that he died because of this trauma, because he wasn't able to breathe or something like that. And this is the person who created liquid fuel engines for Soviet rockets, for Soviet spaceships. And that's exactly the person that launched first Russian into space. That's his mug shot from the prison. So there's absolutely nothing beautiful about Soviet Union. It's like beta version of modern Russia. Something like that. And basically Gorbachev was leader of all this. Wouldn't it be great if humanity would evolve? Yeah, he died in a very simple surgery. That's true. So they had some issues related to his jaw. That's from what I remember. As for the evolution of humanity, I completely agree with you guys. So I came up with a simple solution to solve all kinds of disputes, okay, between politicians. So, boxing. Get your gloves, go to the ring, and solve your problems. Like if you want to, I don't know, prove that you're the greatest or whatever, or you tell me. I mean, why not? Of course, nobody is born, a good boxer. Nobody is born strong or whatever, but it's a good motivation to train, by the way. Ukraine has had some excellent boxers. Yeah, we do. What if you're bad at fighting? So you gotta train. I mean, you gotta train. If you want to have like skill, and you gotta remember that you will save lives of your soldiers. Oh my god, if I knew that, I would be like the best boxer in the world. So the special military operation has turned into a special military capitulation. I think. I think it has all the tendencies to turn into a capitulation. Okay, guys. Again, let's be realistic at all times. We know about, like, we know a lot of stuff about Russians. We know a lot about like their propaganda, their media, their lies, basically. But we gotta stay realistic, and we shouldn't underestimate them, or we shouldn't also overestimate them, because today I talked to a journalist from the UK, um, and we talked about, like, you remember before this invasion, there were a lot of speculations regarding, like, Ukraine will give up in 3 days, or like our anti-air defense will fall, and stuff like that. And a lot of those were coming from Western media. Like 2 days before this invasion, I was trying to sleep and I watched some video on YouTube. You know, those beautiful animated videos describing different things, and it was dedicated exactly to, like, Ukrainian troops, Russian troops, what if, and whatever. And yeah, basically, it was said that uh, eventually Russia will be able to capture Ukraine because they will suppress our anti-air defense, and then they will rule the skies. And if they rule the skies, like in Syria, for example, they will be able to, like, kill like millions of people and stuff like that, and Kiev will be captured. Uh, it was kind of funny to watch. Like, again, I'm not a strategist. I cannot tell you that I knew everything before, like prior to this invasion. I still keep receiving new and new interesting details regarding, like, dislocation of our forces, like days prior to the invasion. And there are still a lot of interesting details. You will be amazed after our victory when we will be able to talk about it. You will be surprised, because I keep being surprised like every day when I receive those details. But uh, at that point, because, like, I knew what Ukrainian anti-air defense was capable of, because I knew what our guys were capable of, because, again, we received a lot of training from our Western colleagues, from our Canadian allies, and different instructors. We are big friends with the 1st Californian Battalion of the National Guard, for example. They helped us big time. Because I knew our capabilities, those videos, that analysis, it looked like a joke. Basically, it was like a good cartoon to watch before going to sleep. Do you think in desperate times like right now, the use of smaller tactical nuclear weapons or chemical weapons could be possible? Um, so I don't think so because again, Russia slash Soviet Union fought against Afghani people, okay, for like 10 years. They never used nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are political weapons. But because I'm a military, my answer to this question will be like 50-50. They can use it or they will not use it, you know. So it was a trap for Putin to think UA easy. You are correct, basically. You think in a right direction. The mayor of Kiev was a great MMA fighter, right? No, he wasn't. He was a legend of boxing. Vitaly Klitschko. He is legendary. So I will tell you a secret. When I was a boy, and you know, when I was a boy, oh my god, when I was a small boy, not old boy like I am now. When I was a small boy, and you know that I'm a military brat, so I lived in numerous military bases. Okay, whenever my father would like be relocated from place to place in Ukraine, and Klitschko brothers they actually have military ranks, and I remember that again because I was a military brat, I attended gym even I was something like probably 7, maybe 8 years old. But I would usually go to gym and watch our soldiers training and stuff, and I would, try to carry those dumbbells and stuff and try to mimic them. And basically, Klitschko was training in that gym. Unfortunately, I don't have photo proofs, but I remember that. He was tall. He's like 2 meters something. He's incredible. And I have an award from him, by the way. I don't like showing off this thing. But at some point I was awarded by Kiev City Hall, and I have this award signed by Klitschko himself. He's my hero. I think that he has a lot of followers all around the world. How do you perceive the bad press about the foreign legions sent on suicide missions? Suicide missions means like every day on Ukrainian front lines. So it's like I don't blame those soldiers at all, because there were cases when trained guys with combat experience, when they would arrive to Ukrainian front lines, and after the very first shelling, they would be like, "Where's our support? Where's our aircraft? Where's like our artillery support?" And our guys would be like, "There's none. This is how we fight." And they would go back, highly disappointed. I don't blame them, because we all have our own experience, right? I have like experience with artillery. I know very closely what artillery is. I mean, when you are on the other side of from the cannon. So when I saw 100 helicopters over Hostomel, I was kind of surprised. Same stuff with those guys. I mean, they have their experience when they fought in Afghanistan or Iraq. They usually had their support, their air support, or their artillery support, and it was available. Okay, here is a bit different picture for obvious reasons. So I cannot blame them. And that's exactly the reason why at this point only like the best of the best are being selected to the Foreign Legion in Ukraine. I cannot tell you more details, but I think it would be great idea to record some kind of interview with some of the fighters. I think I will do that. By the way, thank you for the idea. Slava Ukraini from Canada. Hello, Justin. Justin's Beaver. Great nickname. I love it. Who the hell is Justin Bieber? Amazing Adams. Man, I just saw the stream. What did I miss? Nothing at all. You missed my dog. Okay, I was showing my dog. You gotta scroll back a bit. Okay. Big fans in Texas. I'm a big fan of Texas. So cheers to you guys. Okay. Oh, he was. So yeah, Tyson Fury. Did Tyson Fury fight Vitaly Klitschko or Vladimir Klitschko? I don't remember. Was it Vitaly? I gotta check it out. But Tyson Fury is hilarious. He's one of those guys who fight because he was pushed to fight, you know. I remember I was reading his story, and it was basically because he had to feed his family, he decided to become a fighter. Nothing but respect to Tyson Fury. He's amazing. He's amazing. Greetings to Colorado. Justin Bieber is a singer. I know he's a singer. It's a popular meme. Like you gotta Google Ozzy Osbourne. He was talking to some host about Justin. Like some host asked him about Justin Bieber, and Ozzy was like, "Who the heck is Justin Bieber?" It was hilarious. What is your teacup made of? It's made of wood, literally. I've been given this one. Hi from California. Hello, hello. How can you forget Fury Klitschko fight? I can, because if Klitschko lost, I would better not remember this. We all cried. I did too. How old are you? Something like 30. Oh my god, how old am I? Something like 37. Plus, minus. Yeah, 37. Something like that. Oklahoma. Cheers. Another cheers to Boston. Will your border with Russia end up looking like Korean DMZ? I would prefer it to look like a big wall, probably like 10 meters tall, with remotely controlled turrets, like every 10 meters. That would be nice. Have you an opinion on Alexei Navalny and others who oppose Putin? Yes, but again, the biggest problem of Russians is not like Putin. It's like mass Putin, like collective Putin. And so Navalny, for example, was saying that Crimea is not a sandwich, meaning that I don't know. It's tough to explain what he meant, but he was asked which country Crimea belongs to, literally. It was after annexation, and he was like, it's not a sandwich to be divided by people or by countries. As a person trying to change Russia, yeah, he's nice, but his views on Ukrainian territory represents the views of literally every Russian. I mean that majority of them still think that Ukrainian people are Untermensch, lower race, smaller brother, despite the fact that we're 1,000 years older than them, but and it's gonna stop because, guys, exactly that partnership cannot be good, cannot bring results in case you only want to benefit yourself and you think that you are the best country in the world. Yeah, okay, for to me Ukraine probably is because I live here, but you have to respect other people. Partnership is like when two people, two organizations, two countries are completely equal. This will bring you results because you are being cared as much as you care after somebody, okay? And basically this Nazi views that they have, that Ukraine doesn't exist. It was made by Bolsheviks, then it was made by Russian Tsar, Russian Empire, then it was always Russia, but at some point they started calling themselves Ukrainians. Then it was Russia is a descendant of Kievan Rus, but it's only true descendant. Kiev is not. And similar crap. It's so wrong. I mean, it's not supposed to be like that, okay? So if they want to have some kind of good relations, some partnership with Ukraine in the future, they should restart their brain and learn how to respect other people. At this point, they have this they're part of United Nations, right? They're member of United Nations. United Nations recognized international borders. It's fact. There's a separate treaty, I think. In 2003, Russia also recognized borders of Ukraine. In 2003, Russian president, I think his name was Putin, no? He signed a treaty with Ukraine about recognition of Ukrainian borders. And after a while, after 19 years, they decided to change their mind. Because they decided that Crimea always belonged to Russia, as well as Donbass. And funny fact, Donbass was a separate nation, ethnicity. Okay, what makes nation a nation? Nations are built over ethnicities, religious foundation. There's definition like United States, for example, there were like different ethnicities, but they had like one colony. They united. They decided to become a country. Okay, there's like four like, oh my god, four designations for a nation. What makes a nation a nation? What makes people call themselves somehow? There's nothing like that on Donbass. It was always Ukrainian. In like before 2014, you would ask anybody in Donbass, like, where do you come from? He would answer you in Russian or in Ukrainian, but he would answer you, I come from Ukraine. Like, nobody would ever tell you, like, I come from Donbass Republic. There was nothing like that. So the roots of this Donbass Republic. So during the Orange Revolution in 2004, during the Orange Revolution, our dictator Yanukovych, who falsified his elections, and that's why we had revolution basically, because he stole our right to democratically elect our leader. He ran to Severodonetsk together with his party of thugs and criminals, and they had this banquet in Severodonetsk, and they stated that they will separate from Ukraine in case those results will not be recognized or something like that. Since that time, I think they created some kind of extremist organization with a similar flag that those guys in so-called DPR currently have. So that's the like roots of that. And in in 2004, they were already claiming that yes, there are Nazi, there is NATO. We don't want NATO in Ukraine. And all that crap that they talk about today. Basically, there's nothing new. But there was nothing like separate. Okay, we have like representatives of Greek nation. We have representatives of Georgian nation. We have Jewish nation. We have Turkish nation. We have a lot of Crimean Tatars, of course, in Ukraine. We have all kinds of ethnicities here. Myself, I'm a bit Polish, a bit Gypsy. Don't tell nobody. I steal horses. But there was nothing like Donbassian nationality. It's a completely artificially created stuff, which was made up in like 2014, and this is crazy. I mean, they never existed officially, historically, and that's actually what Russians say about us, despite the fact that basically all the Russian civilization was born here in Kiev. All right, Gypsy. Yeah. So my grandma had a so like my great grandpa was a gypsy basically. He was a blacksmith, and he was a kick-ass blacksmith. So he was really famous. It was like end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th century. He was really famous. So his how you call it? Not convoy, but so his column, his clan, okay, of gypsies. They were like traveling around Ukraine. He was really ill, and together with his wife, they decided to settle not far from Kryvyi Rih in Ukraine, and he got better, and because he was so good at doing stuff with metal, which is our family skill, he became a very, very famous blacksmith. So yeah, I have some gypsy blood in me, and some Polish blood, because my great great grandpa and his daughter were basically, oh my god, how do you call it, banished from Poland, because they were, like, my great great grandpa was member of Joseph Pilsudski party. They were banished to the Russian Empire, which Ukraine was occupied by. Anyways, what country or countries has supported Ukraine the most with weapons? Like, I cannot tell you that some country is our biggest ally, because every country, every ally did something. Some countries spent like half of their annual budget helping Ukraine, bringing like their tanks and vests and stuff. Some of those countries brought their men, their volunteers. Some of those countries brought their vehicles. Some countries brought their drones. Some brought their like ammunition, equipment. Everybody did something. So, like, when I talk about, for example, Polish people, because I told you I went to the front lines for the first time in my life back in beginning of 2015, wearing a Polish helmet, and to this day I wear a Polish helmet, different but the same. When I talk about them, it doesn't mean that other countries did less. Everybody did something, because because this is how international security works. This is how civilized countries help each other. This is partnership. They know that they give us a lot of resources. It's true. But they also know that our people risk their lives, which is also true. A lot of people in Europe, for example, as well as in the United States, okay, a lot of people say that they are angry with like prices for like fuel and stuff. We have the same situation here. The only difference is that Ukrainian soldiers die, and a lot of civilians also die. So, yeah, sorry about it. So, yeah, we only hope that you will understand our situation. If you look back far to the past, we are related on this planet. We are all the same. We just have many stupid people is all. I completely agree on that, actually. Because we all originated from same place. We have same roots. Some people believe it was like Adam and Eve. Some people believe it was like Homo sapiens, first representatives of this kind. But yes, it's fact. Romania donated ammunition. Yeah, that's true. They also must be mentioned, because they donated a lot of ammunition, ammo, which is very important. Russia donated a lot to Ukraine. True. Yeah, I completely agree on that. This recent land lease performed by Russians was amazing. Um, GDP wise, Germany hasn't given enough. I want to mention one thing, by the way. So, Putin was threatening Europe regarding like its resources and stuff. Basically, what Putin wants his people, his citizens, to believe is that he's gonna bankrupt the West. GDP of Russia is something like $1.4 trillion per year. GDP of European countries plus the United States is 40 times more. It's $40 plus trillion. I think even in like India has bigger GDP than Russia. South Korea, I guess, does as well. Japan has bigger GDP than Russia. So it kind of sounds very funny to me. I'm not an economist, but I can compare numbers and yeah. Will you do some new shirts soon? I will. As soon as I finish this podcast, I will make another shirt. You'll probably see it tomorrow. Okay. More than 40 times for sure. Something like that. So roughly, Europe has roughly about 20 trillions GDP, and the US has some similar number. So it's around that number. Wasn't Operator Starsky's birthday live stream on 9th of July? Yes, it was a stream together with the Shills. The Shills made like a present for me, so I streamed with them starting from midnight, and I think I didn't have so little sleep since the very beginning of this invasion. Do you have a favorite fictional superhero? Probably like a Spider-Man. That oh my god, what's the name of the actor? The one who dates Zendaya. They're a hilarious couple. Odin is a good companion on a battlefield. I agree on that. I agree. Odin and Neptune, of course. Don't forget about Neptune. Tom Holland, yeah, exactly. That's him. Yeah, I think his, like his role, his character, is much better for being a Spider-Man than all those previous guys. They were good, okay, but Holland is amazing, and Zendaya, of course. If you could bring any superhero to Ukraine to protect the people, who would it be? Spider-Man, my favorite, Superman or Batman or Hulk. Um, I don't think that Ukrainian armed forces need superheroes to help them. I think they could be a great help for any superhero, in my opinion, because they are so great and so awesome. With all my respect to Batman and Spider-Man, of course. Uh, Popeye, yeah, Popeye is a great option. Okay, guys, I think that it's a good time to. I didn't even finish my coffee. It's a good time to finish our stream. It was great. Um, Thank you so much for your questions, for your beautiful commentaries. They were absolutely awesome. And of course, Tarzan, guys. Tarzan is the superhero I would bet on, definitely 100%. Thank you so much for your support on the first place, because it's the most important thing that we have now. One of our biggest motivators and what gives us hope is your support. So thank you so much, guys. Much love from Kiev, a lot of respect, and many hugs. My name is Operator Starsky, and thanks for watching.